Have you ever felt? Are you listening? Damn.
A famous crypto bull, Michael Novogratz, stated that the Bitcoin market is already in the bull era. We turned from bears to bulls in September 12th by his observation of Galaxy Crypto Index from Bloomberg. So he said that, okay guys, we are about to go to the moon now, so please fasten your seatbelts and so on. I have my own point of view on the issue in general on the Bitcoin market and crypto. If you want to know more, please stay tuned. You're watching Crypto Hamster channel. Let's go.
Let's go.
Speaking about positive predictions, guys, Team Draper predicts total crypto market cap of $80 trillion in next 15 years. Well, 80 trillion would mean like 400 times of the price rise of Bitcoin, roughly. So with the same dominance, of course, so you can imagine how much will it cost. But to me, in my opinion, it's just a little bit. I would say 80, like putting such precise numbers is not really the like real analysis or something like that. I mean, yeah, I wonder why didn't he say like $82.3 trillion. So how did he actually come up with this number? It's I would say it's ridiculous, but I mean, you can say it will be much bigger than now, but why 80 trillion? Come on. And also 15 years, well, it's also like within this period of time, either Bitcoin will be really high, or everybody will forget about this prediction, or everybody will forget about Team Draper. I'm sorry, team. So, but anyway, some positive sentiment in the market. Now let's look at the price of Bitcoin. So you remember yesterday I was drawing some arrows. Here's a lot of the arrows and a lot of the possible paths of the movement of future movement of Bitcoin. Now I decided to leave just a few, like those which I would like to trade if I will have a chance. But because like people would say, people would say it's too many and uncertain and so on. But again, this is sort of my expectation, like the most likely scenario which I would bet on, but most likely means maybe like 20 to 25%. It doesn't mean that it will happen, right? It doesn't mean like even 50+%. But anyway, what I would expect that the price will probably hit $7,000 or a little lower, maybe 6,800 plus, and then it will go down back to 6,500, and from that point, if we'll break it, we'll go down to the new low, maybe 5,500 or something like that, and this will be followed by the V-shaped reversal to the cross of this trend line resistance and the $7,000, and maybe probably will be like around 200 days moving average, so somewhere around here as well, and then eventually we'll bounce back to the 6,500 around ETF area, and ETF positive decision hopefully will make us go to the moon. Of course, it doesn't mean that the price of Bitcoin will just go with these smooth moves. Probably, as you see now, it never does this. So, but these are the key levels which probably it will touch, or at least approach to them, and then we'll have a reversal from that. Or well, now let's say it's the general trend of the change of the price in the next 2-3 weeks, in my opinion. As you see, yesterday it actually touched 6,500 and stand above that for a little while, and then we dropped down. I would say it was sort of it may be treated as a correction of this solid move upwards, and then this correction was followed by the recovery back to the previous needed to the previous top 6,500. Now we're testing this level again. It's sort of a strong level. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This was a false breakout, and sort of, so probably if as soon as we'll be broken, we'll have a rally for $200-300, I would expect. But eventually, again, I believe it will be the drop. So anyway, we're like crawling around this level, and basically nothing is happening with Bitcoin. But what I was going to mention, guys, is that while we're considering, like, you remember this rise to $7,400, and around this like $7,000, or maybe like 31st, maybe like here, yeah, somewhere around this area, around here actually, I made so it was 6,800, so just $300 more than now, and which is 5% higher. So I made a virtual portfolio with altcoins, like in my opinion, solid altcoins, which expected to be giving reasonable growth in future. So I opened this for a little bit more than $31,000, and eventually it went up to like 33 and something $1,000, and then after Bitcoin drops, it also went down to 23, so like 30% of the whole portfolio worth. And then it's finally after September 12th, as actually Michael Novogratz mentioned, it was a reversal, so we started to grow. So but still this 5% change in Bitcoin led to the quite of drop in, like, how many, I don't know, it's like 15% of this total portfolio. So the thing is that those swings in Bitcoin price lead to very exaggerated changes in the price of altcoins. So 5% change or a drop in Bitcoin leads to 15% change in altcoins. It means that those were like squeezed, and a lot of the weak hands are shaken out, and the price of those altcoins becomes lower and lower. So actually only like Holochain, Waves, and a few, like very few others are in green. The rest you see 20, 10, 20, 25, 30%, 35%, like even Icon 34%, or Walton 35%, or Cardano 30%. So all of the reasonable coins seem to be very low from those points. So this means that actually there is no reversal from that point. If it would be, then we would have much bigger green candles. And I was going to look at the Ethereum. You see, actually, you know that it went down to like $170, and I was considering that it's actually not a bad idea to get Ethereum position if it will go below 150, but it didn't go there, so it started to rise. The idea is that currently, as opposed to the all previous time when we had basically Ethereum, so you see the candles chart is the Ethereum chart, and red one is the Bitcoin. So you see Ethereum previously sort of repeated the price action of Bitcoin, at least to a certain degree, but then after maybe end of July it started to be quite different from Bitcoin, and actually went down. Of course, like ICO is selling out and everything, but still such a change indicates that we have a sort of a decoupling of the price between Bitcoin and Ethereum, which means, well, it may be good or bad, but the fact itself means that we can't really rely on Bitcoin move in terms of the performance of Ethereum anymore. So be very careful, guys. But still, by the way, I've heard many opinions of like established people in the field, and also in like close to the classical conventional, not conventional, but like classical markets, I would say, yeah, so traditional markets, stock market, etc. So they say that they would expect Ethereum go down to like 50 or even $60, and that would be the price when it's reasonable to buy and to expect this to be the bottom. So I don't really, I wouldn't say I tend to believe them, but I wouldn't really consider this growth as something substantial, and the reversal, although yes, we have a reasonable volume, but it doesn't really mean much. As soon as we don't have like real confirmation, like break the levels through the like this level and return to the coupling with Bitcoin, I would say that no, it went actually up here. You see, it was quite strong move. It was some kind of hope that we'll be able to hold here, and we'll also had some increase of the volume and rise here, but it's just not that huge change. It's just sort of a correction. I wouldn't call it dead cat bounce, but still, well, anyway, be careful guys with Ethereum. I think it's really it's interesting position, but it's very dangerous in my opinion. Also, speaking about the general condition of the markets and returning to those predictions by Novogratz and others. So you see the total market capitalization, it didn't really show any signs of the healthy changes. Like, even if we wouldn't look at the volume, which basically the same for the recent like a month or two, you see just the overall capitalization of the market, or the whole crypto market. It was 300 billions in June, then in July it rose again to 300, but then went down to $200, so $200 billion, sorry. And then we tried to push to 250 and didn't make it. Now we again even lower, we were in even much lower than 200. So we can make, so it's sort of a resembling pictures like patterns here, and we can again return and try to push it to maybe 220, 230, and then from that point we can again make a drop. In principle, this is what I would expect to this V-shaped reversal happen eventually after the touching the lower low. However guys, there are some like general fundamental standing and understanding of the things which are happening. You see, this guy is very like this is the catchy hopium, which I would call. He said, okay, Bitcoin hit $20,000 last year, and that was without Goldman Sachs, without Morgan Stanley, without Citigroup, without ETFs, without Lightning Network, just without anything, but we did it. And now with all the things which are happening, with all the development and infrastructure, how do you think which number will hit? Do you think that we wouldn't hit again $20,000 or even much higher price? It's just unlikely that we will not do that. Finally, well, not finally, but just the thing which I was going to mention is, you know, currently with the reward for the mining value, we have like 1,800 bitcoins generated daily, and basically this is at least some part of those bitcoins goes to sell for selling pressure in the price, and still Bitcoin holds that. If there will be not enough buyers, then probably those bitcoins will make it dump to lower levels, and until the mining will be stopped for those miners who are above the mining price, so below the above the mining price of a certain price level, like 6,000 or 5,500, whatever you have it. So, but still Bitcoin holds that. It means that there are a lot of buyers to buy those nearly 2,000 bitcoins daily. And also in 2020, May 21st, when it will be the reward for the mining of Bitcoin will be halved, and it will be like 6.25, right, Bitcoin, and then it will be basically 900 bitcoins a day, so much less Bitcoin for sell, so much more demand for Bitcoin, like twice more demand, even though we will not maybe make anything. Let's assume that we'll not make a moon or whatever until 2020, but still at that point of time the scarcity of Bitcoin will be much stronger. finally, which I noticed, September 13th was very interesting in terms of the depositing of bitcoins on the biggest Bitcoin addresses, wallets, with let's say like 100, 200 biggest addresses. And I'm not talking about the exchanges, I'm talking about the addresses, like private addresses or like funds or something. So you see, this address was actually made on, I think, 13th or something, and 30,000 bitcoins were deposited to that address. Second one, 15,000, nearly 16,000 bitcoins. 15 and 15,000 bitcoins, 5,000 bitcoins, 5,000 bitcoins, 5,000 bitcoins. Everything is 14th and 13th of September. It's amazing, guys. So when we had this relatively low level of 6,300 or something like that, those whales, if you would like to call them like that, they actually loaded enormous amount, in total maybe like $500 million worth of Bitcoin. So you see, it is sort of an indicator that nobody is about to dump the Bitcoin to very low, because otherwise why they would load those huge numbers to just dump them eventually to very low? I wouldn't buy that. So in general, the expectation is really positive, but we would have to wait just a little bit more, guys. Be careful with your trading, and don't forget that everything which I say is not a financial advice, but merely my personal opinion. So do your own research and make your decision by yourself. If you want to see the same content and be up to date, please consider to subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter. Really appreciate it. I'm a bit more active daily on that platform. So see you probably tomorrow, as every day I do the updates of the market. Something interesting is following tomorrow again. See you guys, and safe trading. Bye.